Warehouse on 377 is the place to go. The Warehouse on 377 is the place to go when you want to look your very Tolar best. They offer graphic tees and custom graphic apparel, and also offer dry cleaning laundry services with next day turnaround. Get your custom Tolar spirit wear or design your own look. The Warehouse on 377 is the one-stop shop for custom apparel and embroidery. With fast turnaround times, no minimums, and volume price breaks. This Tolar family-owned and operated business will get you looking your very best. That's The Warehouse on 377. Proud Rattler supporter.
Tolar Nutrition, Tolar Shake and Bake. More than a deli, health food store, and salad bar, it's a local Tolar business ran by Annabelle and Jeremy Ballou. They feature fresh food, knowledgeable staff, and great selection. Everyone loves their shakes and teas and offer breakfast and lunch. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., located in downtown Tolar. The Ballous, Tolar Nutrition, Shake and Bake, are proud Rattler supporters. Troy Wilson, Project Manager at DT Roofing, specializing in residential and commercial roofing needs. DT Roofing is tough as Texas, serving all of the area since 2009. And Troy Wilson is Snake Farm family, so if you're needing help with your roof, gutters, and much more, call Troy Wilson at 817-559-7652 to get your complimentary inspection. That's Troy Wilson, proud Rattler supporter.
Glenrose Nursing and Rehab Center, located in Glenrose, Texas, has been serving Somerville County and surrounding areas for over 10 years. At Glenrose Nursing and Rehab, we consider ourselves top tier. We pride ourselves in our ability to provide individualized care and clinical excellence to our residents so that you can rest easy knowing your loved one is taken care of. If you or your loved one needs post-hospital, long-term memory care, or outpatient therapy, we are ready to meet your needs with a loving home environment where the people make a difference. Glenrose Nursing and Rehab.
Proud Rattler supporter.
Peak Performance Equine Hospital is a full-service primary care and referral hospital located in Granbury, Texas. They provide specialized surgical, medical, and reproductive services. Peak Performance veterinarians include our board-certified surgeon, are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Visit Peak Performance Equine Hospital on the web at peakperformanceequinehospital.com or call 817-579-0287. The best care for your best friend. And proud Rattler supporter.
Well, welcome in, everybody, to the sports scene. It is August the 7th, 2024. I'm your host, as always, David Wood. And joining me over there on the other side of the screen, well, that's him wearing his Tolar Rattlers playoff T-shirt, and that would be the ever-illustrious Donnie Wood. What's going on, Dangerous Don?
Oh, not much, David. It's hump day.
It is hump day. Of course, for me, it's towards the tail end of my week, but yeah, it's hump day for most people. But more importantly, Donnie, this week was the first week that I've been able to feel like it's football season.
Yeah, it's starting to get that time, David. I think they just started practices, and yeah, it's getting close, baby.
Yeah, I went out there yesterday, Donnie, and I took a look at the team, and I saw them practicing out there and everything. And I'm telling you what, this is going to be. I've been touting it. I've been saying it for a while now. This is going to be a special year for the Tolar Rattlers, and I ain't backing off of it, Jack, because I'm telling you what, they look lean, mean, and like a fighting machine. It's going to be really nice this year.
Yeah, I think it can be another special season. We've had some quite a few special seasons lately, and I think they're building on something there. And yeah, I think with all the guys coming back, there shouldn't be no reason for us to have another really special season here in Tolar.
Absolutely, going to be really good and everything. How's your week going? You doing all right?
Doing good, man. It's I'm waking up every morning. I'm getting to have a job, and getting fed really well at home by the wife.
Yeah.
Everything's great, man. God is good.
She's still keeping you around, huh?
Yeah, she hadn't wised up yet, man. It's amazing. Somebody like
How are you pulling that off, Donnie? That's the big secret.
yeah, I know, right? I don't want to figure it out because I might mess it up.
We ran a couple of our spots there at the beginning, a little late getting here. I had a little bit of traffic coming home, and basically, as we were getting in here, it was right at the wire, and so to speak. And but I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate everybody that's going to be watching. One thing that I will say is that I have been saying it for the last couple of episodes. We need your comments, folks. Y'all can comment in anytime, and we'll put them up here. We'll answer any questions you have. You can join us in, especially on the list. And Donnie, tell everybody what the list is. Let's get it out there right away so people can help us out here.
All right. Well, we have to keep it topical. So some folks might know that the Olympics has been going on for a few days.
What is it? What's going on?
The Olympics.
The Olympics.
The Olympics.
Okay.
That is happening. So one of our lists is, I want to know what your all-time favorite Olympic athlete during the Summer Olympics. So we have winter and summer. So your favorite summer Olympic athletes of all time, the top three.
All time. Yep.
And then this is more for like me and you, but obviously some of our listeners might want to
hear what they got to say, Donnie. I really like this list that you got, and I want to hear really what the listeners have to say about this, because it's more important not what we think, I think, but what they think. And go ahead and tell them what it is, the top three.
Yeah, the top three Tolar football games that we broadcasted. So this will be going, I believe, our 11th season, our full-time 11th season with Tolar. And so we had a lot of games that we've covered. So it's kind of hard to narrow it down. But I've got my list, and it's your top three Tolar football games that we broadcasted.
That's right. That's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. And I sure am glad that you're along. Want to give a big shout out real quick to this right here. Folks, we do have the new website. It's still a little bit under construction, but it is coming along. And hopefully Friday it'll be a little bit more advanced. But it's woodplacetx.com. That's our new website. And hopefully this will be our permanent website, and we'll be able to direct people there. We just had some problems with GoDaddy, and it just really wasn't a good platform for us. We've got somebody that's managing this site that's a little bit more open with their time than I am. So hopefully it'll be a lot better. Of course, we will be broadcasting our Tolar Rattlers on Hulu for the home games. Well, also on home games, we'll be broadcasting it on YouTube, but you'll only get to see the on YouTube. If you want to watch the game, you got to watch it on Hulu. So get those accounts and support the Booster Club there. Away games will be both Facebook Live and, of course, our YouTube page, which is the Sports Scene with the WoodBrothers. And so check us out there as well. We still have a lot of content there that people can get to and look at those old games that we're talking about. So let's hop into it, Donnie. We got a little bit to get to, and I don't want to keep you up too late. I know that this is a little past your bedtime, and, I promise not to keep you out too long. Sound good?
Yeah, we know who the old man is. You're at bed at 9 o'clock. Are you kidding me?
Well, are you ready? Let's get to it. This is going to be the way too early predictions for the 2024 Tolar Rattlers. We're going to start there, and then we're also going to give the NFC East. We're going to predict the way too early predictions on the NFC East tonight. So those are our two topics. And then, of course, we have our list, and we're going to also comment on some hot topics that are going around the landscape of sports. So let's get into it. Of course, Tolar Rattlers now in 3A Division 2. And what district, Donnie?
That's District 5.
District 5. District 5. Okay, so we are there, and okay, there you go. I got it. All right. I printed out my top three broadcasts, Donnie, right there. Yeah, printed out really well. Oh well, I know which ones they are. So let's talk about it. The Tolar Rattlers, like I said, they have moved up in competition to District 2A and
3A.
3A, Division 2. And as soon as I grab the paper that I just had, here we go. I'll get to it. Nothing like being organized, right? Okay. So here we go. The Tolar Rattlers. Now, of course, we have some non-district games that are very important, Donnie. We open up with Feaster, which we've opened up with them before, and they're a 3A D1, right?
Yes.
And then we have a 3A D1 Teague team,
Yes.
and then a 3A D1 Millsap team.
Yep.
And that game, Donnie, is going to be homecoming, believe it or not. And then we have the
You have Comanche.
oh, I'm sorry, that's the future Rattler night is Millsap. Then we have Comanche at home, and that's going to be homecoming. I love that. That's going to be fun. Comanche at homecoming, and they're a 3A
They moved up to Division 1 this season.
Division 1, right? And then we have Breckenridge, which is another non-district game, and they are 3A
Division 1.
Division 1. Then we have an open week before we get to district, and district is where it all starts. And Donnie and I will be the first to tell you this. I think Donnie will agree that in this particular district, the way it works is the way the districts work is you get 4 teams from each district make the playoffs. Of course, your district champs have the best route to advance in playoffs, but of course you get 4. Well, this district has 6 teams. So all but 2 will make the playoffs this year in by-district round. They include Early, Dublin, Clifton, Brady, and Eastland. And all of those teams were 3A Division 2 last year, Donnie.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
That is right. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you our prediction, and we'll go from last to first. We'll talk about the first 2 teams that we feel like are not going to make the playoffs, and then we're going to go up to all the way up to the first place team in the district. And we're going to let Donnie start off here with the last place in the district for this next year. Way too early prediction.
I have to do it, even though I root for this team. I like this little town.
Yeah.
But the Dublin Lions will be number 6 in the district.
Yeah, I have the Dublin Lions as well. They're going through some growing pains. Real cool thing about Dublin, and I think we play Dublin here, don't we?
Yes.
We play Dublin here. The real cool thing about Dublin is they got a really nice stadium, Donnie. A really nice, brand new stadium. We don't get to see it this year. But, yeah, I've got Dublin as well, last place. They're just going through some growing pains, rebuilding and reorganizing there. But I tell you what, I'm with you, Donnie. I like the little town. It's cute. Hate to beat up on them like we're going to.
Yeah. Yeah, I got in 5th place in our district. The other team that more than likely won't make the playoffs is, I think this town is named after David's favorite quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. Brady will be 5th in the district of 5A. Or 5.
Again, I agree with you, Donnie. Brady, Texas, and thank goodness in Greyhound that this year Brady is the furthest away from us so far as in distance and everything. And it's going to be a home game as well. But I also have Brady. I think we're going to wind up having the same teams. So Brady and Dublin, we feel like are going to miss the playoffs and be the bottom cellar dwellers in our district this year. Who do we have at number 4, first playoff team that we're going to talk about here?
I got Clifton Cubs. The Clifton Cubs will be 4th. They'll make the playoffs. I'm excited to play them. I drove through that town all the time, going to Waco. So yeah, I'm excited to play the Clifton Cubs.
Well, Donnie, I was extremely excited to play the Clifton Cubs, which by the way, again, we're in agreement. I agree that they're going to be the 4th place team of the district. But I drove through there just the other day, Donnie, last week, and I drove by there, what was it, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday of last week, and I decided I'd stop by the stadium, see what kind of accommodations we're going to have. Yeah, it looks like we're going to sports center it, Donnie. It is a little bitty stadium. It looks smaller than a 1A school stadium. Very, very curious there. But yes, I have Clifton Cubs. Another cute little town too.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
And of course, I bet you're going to agree with me. In third place, I have the Early Longhorns.
Yeah, Coach Price down there in Early. We've obviously know Early. We played them a lot of times through the seasons, and he's got another one of his sons at quarterback. So they made the playoffs last year again, and so they've got some experience. Coach Price is a good coach, but yeah, I think they're going to get third. That could be an interesting spot. I think between Early and Eastland. I think they'll battle for that second spot, but I think I'm going to give Early the third spot.
Yeah, the Longhorns. Of course, we beat them pretty convincingly last year, and now they're going to be in our district. We've had them in our district before when we were 3A once before, and it's always been a good school to play. We've always had good games out there. So I look forward to going down to Early. I think we go to Early, don't we? No, Early's going to be here.
Yep.
So, yeah, we have 3 home games in district. We're only traveling to Clifton and Eastland. And we both agree Eastland in second spot?
Yeah, I got Eastland, they obviously have a great program there. They've been good. Lately, they've had some down seasons the last few seasons. So it's going to be interesting. I know that town is football crazy. They've had really, really good teams in the past. So that I'm excited about that game. Obviously, we talked about this before. Going down to Eastland, playing in that environment, it's a really great high school football environment, and that'll be our last game of the district. And I think, according to us and all folks, they're probably both going to be undefeated in district going into that game. That'll be for the district championship, and yeah, that's gonna be fun. But I think Tolar Rattlers are, and I know people don't want to, especially coaches don't want to hear it, but I think Tolar is head and shoulders above in this district. I really do. Just like last year in our district, I think we're. I don't even think it's close, really, but we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Eastland game is going to be our biggest challenge in district. I really think our biggest challenge comes in non-district, and I'm really looking forward to it because what it does is it's going to give us a lot of really, really stiff competition early on. Something the boys can grow together with the new system and new coaches and new everything. Coach Mauser really has them looking good early on, because I went out there and I was like surprised that they were able to do everything that they were doing, and this was a really early practice. I got some feedback on my end on the audio, but
I hear you fine. Yeah,
I think that the non-district's really going to be the biggest challenge. Once we get into district, I think, especially with the first couple of games, we play Early, Dublin, Clifton all right away after an open week. That gives us time to heal if we have any injuries, if we're bumps and bruises and that sort of thing. It gives us time to really get right with ball before we get into the Brady and Eastland, Clifton, Brady, and Eastland, that little run there. But Early in Dublin and Clifton, we should be able to handle those teams pretty well, I think. And then and even Brady. And the Eastland game is going to be a little bit tougher, but I think we'll persevere. And I think the Rattlers win district. I will even go further on the 2 early predictions. I said it, and I agree. I still believe it, Donnie. I believe we get over the hump, and I think we will make it back to Jerry's World this year.
Ooh, that's saying something. That's a tough run. Obviously, 3A Division II has some really good teams. 3A Division I and II is so talented. But obviously, Gunter is a 2-time defending state champion. They're going for a 3-peat. They're in our region, so that's going to be a tough one. And then you got the other 2 teams that's in our region that are going to be tough to beat. Is Jacksboro, which we're a little familiar with, and Holiday. So there's some tough teams, and but I like our and and we're used to this. The Tolar football players are used to this. Tolar football fans are used to it. The non-district is they're playing up in division, right? So all those, besides Millsap is Division two, but the other four teams in non-district are Division one, and all those teams made the playoffs except for Breckenridge, I believe. All those other teams made the playoffs last year, and four of them were Division one teams in 3A. I think the toughest game, and you mentioned the toughest. You think the toughest game in the regular season will be the non-district game, and yeah, it's going to be the Teague Lions, and they're ranked up there. They're predicted to win their district in 3A Division One, and they're also, I think, I know they're in the top 20 in Dave Campbell's predictions of preseason. So that's a really good team, and I'm excited to go over there and play that team, and that's going to be a really good test early in the season. The thing about this season, I think the biggest question mark, everybody knows it, is the quarterback position, and there's so many guys returning that played all the other positions that I don't think we're going to miss anything from all the guys, the really, really good athletes, really good players that we lost from last season's team. But the main position that did graduate was Isaac Blessing at the quarterback position. So,
yeah,
I think early on, we're going to really lean, and it might be the whole season, and we probably should with the talent we have and that position, but we should really be leaning on that running attack early on. It was just like against Stratford in the semifinals of the run. We didn't pass the ball much. We ran the ball. We controlled the clock. We wore them down, and I think you're going to see a similar deal because you got a lot of offensive line guys come back. You got your running backs coming back. You got some really good skill positions on the outside. Some of those have talent, experience, and I think we're going to score a lot. But with that defense, David, we're not going to have to score much, because that defense is really, really good.
Yeah. And here's another thing too, Donnie. Like I said, I went to the practice the other day. These linemen look even bigger than what they were last year, Donnie. And we had a lot of young players in key positions last year that are going to develop and even be even better. I think we're going to see a tough team this year. And like you said, losing Isaac Blessing and a talent like that, it does take you back at a very key position. But I think there's enough talent and enough athleticism on this team that we're going to pull through. And I think our rushing game is going to be even better with a healthy downtown Peyton Brown and Kelvin Murray and a couple of others. I think are really going to help. Hey, we're getting quite a few viewers, so I wanted to give it out again. If you have any comments or suggestions, or you want to chime in, you can do so. All you got to do is go to the comment, make a comment, and we'll include you in here in the show, or you can or we'll read it and be it that way. Also, we got two lists. One, who are your five? Is it five, Donnie?
Three
favorite Summer Olympic athletes, and the other one is what's the other one, Donnie?
Our top three Tolar football games that we broadcasted.
Yes, that we broadcast. So let us
know.
Last
10 years, basically.
Yeah, chime in there, folks. We want to hear it.
Coach Mauser is he's going to be spoiled going in this first season with the guys that he's got coming back from a state finalist team. He's got 7 offensive, 7 defensive starters coming back. Obviously, some of the JVers that are going to be coming up that played last year had a great season. Really, really good depth for a small school. Going 14-2 last year. And the 2 losses were against state champions. He's got some great players his first season. I want to go through some of the list of names, David, if I could.
You bet.
First, I got to start out with one of the guys that's I think second team All-State preseason pick for a linebacker, Drake Owens. That kid, and he goes both ways. plays a lot of offense, and obviously is your anchor on defense at linebacker position. Of course, Peyton Brown. If it wasn't for last season's injury, that really cost him the majority of the season, he would be breaking records going into this season. So Peyton Brown, I'm excited to see him healthy and back in that.
Yeah, he did tell me he was going to get me 50 this year. Because, I told him last year, after the last year, he got 49, and I said, I need 50.
I think with the depth that we have at running back, especially with Kelvin Murray, I'm excited to see him. I think Peyton Brown might not get as many carries as he is accustomed to, especially like his sophomore year, because I think he'll be played at the defensive end position quite a bit as well. Cash Clark, I loved watching him play on the defensive line last year. He's coming back. Sam Stewart, big offensive line. He holds that offensive line together. Hunter Michaels, another big defensive line player, had a great season. Cutter Kane, another defensive line. We got all our defensive line coming back. Cutter Kane coming back. Calvin Murray, I mentioned him. The running back.
Brooks Stone.
Brooks Stone was a defensive line stellar. Caden Abrego, I believe he was only a sophomore last year.
Yeah, he started off with the JV and then came back up, and man, he's a man child.
Yeah, he played some great defense, and you probably see him play some offense this year. Of course, the guy that we've been calling him a lot, he was injured early in the season, but he came back and had a great second half and great playoffs. Ty McClure, excited to see him be out there on the defensive side. Probably see him at wide receiver a little bit too, maybe. Brylan Feast, is it Feast, right?
Feast, yeah.
Wide receiver and cornerback player. Grant Shirley, the athlete. It's going to be fun to see him out there again. Ty Culberson, Zane Graham, a big offensive lineman. Caden Pate, cornerback. And Toby Combs, another big offensive line guy. Those are a lot of guys I just mentioned. And they were studs.
Yeah. Do what?
And they were all studs. So, and I could, there's other guys, and there'll be guys that we haven't heard of. Last year, we didn't know Kelvin Murray. And if it wasn't for his injury that cost him some games, he would have had a bigger season. But when he was in there, he was dynamic, made some plays, and he's going to be a force in that backfield. You got, like we talk about it, the Thunder and Lightning in that backfield. I'd hate to see if there is a better team in 3A Division II in the backfield than ours. They're going to have to be all world.
Yeah, they're going to have to really step up to compete with talent across talent. It's going to be real, real hard for those schools to match that. And it's all because of the community of Tolar, Texas. It's a mindset and it's a culture that's been here for a while now, and it's growing on. And I see the kids really, really liking the challenge of having the new coach and having a new system and going that, a lot of kids, they would have said, oh my gosh, Coach Mullins left. And, we're going to have a new coach. We're going to have new this and new that. And this is going to be different. And that's going to be different. New place to learn and everything. These kids, they took it the right way. And in today's society, that's hard. They took it the right way. And they said, you know what? We love it. It's a new challenge upon the challenge that we already have. And we're going to welcome it. And we're gonna master it, and we're gonna make things happen, and that's why I have them in Jerry's world. Come, I know Donnie doesn't believe in it, but I do. I think they're gonna be in Jerry's world again this year, and it's gonna be funny because we don't have to play all three of those teams that you mentioned, and I think those are the only three teams that can compete with us in our region is Holiday, Jacksboro, and we're only going to have to face possibly one of them, one of the three, because somebody's going to knock somebody else off, and somebody else we may face two, but we won't have to face all three. And so that's key. That's key in how we get to where we want to be. And so it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And, it's even, I love the non-district schedule. Obviously the district is where it matters, but I love the non-district teams that we're playing, but also, if you look at our scrimmages, you got they're scrimmaging, and I know that's where you're really working on things. But you're playing two really good teams. a tough 2A stellar program in Cisco, and then our other scrimmage is kind of oddly picked is Jacksboro, which is a team
Yes.
that we will probably face in the playoffs. So
In Tolar.
at Tolar, and I'm going to try to come down to that one. I'm wanting to get a sneak peek, and I think that's on August 22nd. That'll be on a Thursday. I might try to get down there and watch that one.
Yes, I'm going to actually be at the Cisco. I'm going to Cisco this year, and I'm going to get to see that. And then also programming note, and Donnie, you probably have it. You probably can see it. I don't have it with me right now. I had to run in here, so I don't have all my notes. But we have a Meet the Rattlers night, and I'm going to be broadcasting that night from the booth. Hopefully, Donnie will be able to join me. I don't know, what his schedule will be on that Friday, but it's Meet the Rattlers, and we're going to show up early. Hang on a second, Donnie. I'm going to grab that segue until I get it.
Okay, so this is live coverage of watching David go pick up some notes.
Watching David go get stuff. Yeah,
he is back.
So the 16th, Donnie, not this Friday, but the next Friday, I will be on the air. I think we're going to go on around 5:30ish, something like that. But it's Meet the Rattlers, and we're going to have some of the players and some of the coaches come up into the press box and visit with us. And they're going to be doing Meet the Rattlers at 6. And but yeah, I'm going to Cisco. Really looking forward to that. And then the scrimmage on the 22nd at home against Jacksboro. That's going to be fun. It's a Thursday, fun Thursday. And if you come up, Donnie, I'll have the AC on for you.
Got to have the AC. I don't know why this just hit my brain. We've been on for about 30 minutes now, but earlier you talked about how we're going to be able to watch, how our fans will be able to watch our home games.
Yeah,
it's on Huddle. I think you might have said Hulu.
Huddle. Yeah,
it's Huddle.
It's Huddle.
Yeah, and that's going to be a great a deal. I know they have the really nice camera up there, and then you'll have to listen to us, but that'll be fun on Huddle. And then the other away games will be on our Facebook Live and YouTube page. And speaking of our YouTube page, I encourage you folks to go on our YouTube page and hit subscribe, maybe hit like, maybe some comments. I hear people say this all the time when I'm listening on some YouTube podcasts that I watch sometimes. They hit subscribe and hit like and make some comments and all that. So
yeah, it's important, folks. We need y'all to do that. We also need you to comment on tonight's episode. I see y'all watching. Go ahead, tell us what was your favorite Tolar broadcast that we've done for you. Tell us, your top Olympic athletes in your time, and also tell us what you're thinking about this upcoming Tolar Rattler district. We just did the too early 2024 predictions, but Donnie, I don't think it's too early. I think we nailed it.
Yeah, and I think that also it'll be we just did it 2 seasons ago. It'll be our second time in school history to go undefeated in regular season. I'm saying it. We're going undefeated in regular season.
Okay.
Mark it down.
I got you. I'm marking it down. Donnie saying undefeated. All right. So we're going to segue from there, from the Tolar talk. You Tolar folks, y'all need to comment. But we're going to segue. We're going to go to our next topic, Donnie, which is the NFC East. The NFL is, everybody's at training camp. Fantasy football is, lighting it up, and everybody's doing their mock drafts, getting ready for their draft parties and having a good old time and whatnot. And the NFL season's coming on. And a couple of questions in the NFC East. Will Dallas finally break the curse? It's been a curse because it's been a long time since we've been real successful. Can Philadelphia bounce back after a horrible season and recapture their crown? Can Washington repeat a similar surprise in the 2020 season? Will the Giants pull off one of the biggest surprises of the 2024 season? We're going to try to predict the NFC East standings for the upcoming 2024 season. I wrote all mine down, Donnie. I got my notes. I got all kinds of fun stuff and everything. And I will start it off. How about that?
Go for it.
There's 4 teams in the NFC East.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard about that.
And in number 4, now last year they were 6-11. This year, I'm predicting them to be 4-13. 6-11 to 4-13. And that's the New York Giants. They've struggled for over a decade, and the outlook is actually even worse. Rumors swirled about the Giants' intentions to trade up in the draft for a new franchise quarterback, either Jaden Daniels or Drake May, but they stayed put at the 6th pick. And in free agency, the Giants added offensive lineman Jermaine Immelure and John Runyon Jr. and Aaron Stinney, and they selected an electrifying wide receiver, Malik Neighbors. Now, that was a good pick. Malik Neighbors with their first-round pick. They did not get a quarterback. The moves should benefit Daniel Jones. However, signing Jones to a hefty extension may prove to be a misstep, as the offense's potential remains limited with him under center. Over the past 3 seasons, Jones has failed to surpass 15 touchdowns in a single year. While they have several key players returning from injury, their line of defense remains huge, and the defense has vulnerability at all 3 levels. And the back end at cornerback and safety are a huge concern. Plus, they lost Saquon Barkley, the only marquee player they had on the team from last year. Donnie, this team is the Toilet Bowl winner of the NFC East. Who do you have?
Yeah, I have the same. I have the Giants. I got them going 5-12. I think it's hard to not win a few games, and it's gonna. This is a make or break for Daniel Jones, and I think they might give him half of the season, see if he can be a quarterback for the future. But I don't think he is. I think they've seen enough. They are going to get off to a really tough start, and I don't think they'll be able to recover. So they 5-12. It's a generous record that I'm giving them.
Yep, I agree, Donnie. Number 3, you ready for this one? Shocker. You ready?
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Eagles. Their 20-23 record was 11-6. My prediction is that they'll go 8-9. They kicked off last year looking like a Super Bowl contender, but they collapsed big time last year. They have additions in their coaching staff of Kellen Moore, whoopee. We know what a failed bit that is, and Vic Fangio. Last season, the secondary struggled significantly after losing play caller Jonathan Cannon to the Arizona Cardinals, where he took over as head coach. However, general manager Howie Roseman addressed these issues by bringing in 2 athletic top-tier rookies in Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell, along with seasoned veteran defensive back C.J. Garner-Johnson. None of those people really, I think they're going to struggle early on in the season, and I think that's really going to set their tone, because as they struggle early, the Philadelphia Eagles will disevolve because they don't have a leader. Their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, is not a leader, folks. He is not a leader, and he will start sulking, and he'll do exactly like he did on the second half of last season, and he will deteriorate. Now, they do have some great wide receivers in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but I don't think that Jalen Hurts is a premier passer. I really don't think he is. And I think with struggling early, and that defense lost a lot, I think that the Philadelphia Eagles is a big head case. Now, remember, they did lose Jason Kelsey, who was their most talented offensive lineman. And, everybody wants to point at the Dallas Cowboys offensive line and say they got holes here. No, they've addressed all their issues, and the Cowboys are going to be fine on the offensive line. I know you laughed at it, and you kind of think I'm crazy because they were 11-6. I got them at 8-9, and I got them in 3rd place in this division, the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm glad I don't have to write this down, because all I got to do is come back to this show and watch it and play your words.
Do it.
Yeah. So obviously, in 3rd place, I have the Washington Commanders. I think they did get they got a quarterback. Hopefully for them, who knows? You never know. We've said it before. We thought some quarterbacks were going to be, a franchise quarterback, but I think this kid's got a chance. Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders. I got them going 7-10 though, and making 3rd in the East. one good step besides Jaden Daniels is they got a head coach, Dan Quinn. Hopefully he doesn't mess up their defense like he messed up our defense last season. But he has a good start, you know. In the year 3 might not be so great, but year 1 and 2 he does pretty well. So I got the Commanders. They went 4-13 last year. I got them improving to 7 wins and 10 losses. It's hard for a rookie quarterback to make that big of an impact to change it to a contending team after you lose, only win 4 games the season before. But they got a few good wide receivers. Austin Eckler, I'm not totally sure about him. He's kind of disappointed there in San Diego last couple of years. So, but I do have them in 3rd place at 7-10.
Well, this obviously I had the Philadelphia Eagles in 3rd place. So at 2nd place, I am placing the Washington Commanders, Donnie, and they will be one of the most improved teams in the NFL this season. And even Dan Quinn, which I didn't think he was all that great of the defensive coordinator last year for the Dallas Cowboys, but I think he's going to be a good head coach. He's a motivator. He's a player's coach, and players' coaches generally make better head coaches than they make coordinators. And so I think he'll be just fine. He's had success in the league, and I think he'll do it. He did a great deal for this team by picking the right quarterback for this team. This quarterback, Jaden Daniels, will compete as the Rookie of the Year for the NFL, not just the NFC, but I'm talking about the NFL. Jaden Daniels is going to be a top-tier quarterback in this league, and I think he starts off a really, really strong rookie season. I got him going 9-8 and getting 2nd place in this division. I don't have the Commanders getting a wild card, however. So I'm just saying. I think there's only going to be one team to advance into the playoffs from the NFC East. Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson, great wide receivers for a rookie quarterback. They got Zach Ertz as their tight end. The offensive line looks pretty decent. They did get Biotish from us, and I thought Biotish was a very serviceable center for the Cowboys last year and held his own. It was a place that the Cowboys had to address, and they did. So, and they got a couple of our Cowboys on defensive side. I think the defensive side of the football will be fine. And Bobby Wagner is also with the Redskins, Donnie. So I think that the Washington Commanders will be one game better than the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to be 9-8 this season, 2nd place.
All right. So is it my turn? Am I going to the 2nd place team?
2nd place.
The 2nd place team in the NFC East will be one of 2 teams.
No, you have to come up with one.
And the team that I'm picking to be 2nd in the NFC East are your Dallas Cowboys. I think they're going to go 10-7, and that's being really generous. At first, I said 9-8. They got a lot of talented players, so I think they'll still go 10-7. There's just, the running game is really questionable. They don't really have a really good running back to take away from the passing game to the defense to not just key on the passing attack, which I think can be really good. But without a threat in the backfield, it makes it harder. I mean, I don't care what you say. I know this is a passing league now, but still, you have to have a threat. And when your starter is predicted to be a guy that's washed up, Zeke Elliott, that's a problem. Now, I think the quarterback is a good quarterback. He's not great. He's good. He's a guy you can win with. I think he is the leader. But there's question marks with the wide receivers. CD Lamb's not even in camp yet. I know everybody's going to, say he's going to come in, and he will eventually. But he is playing. He's a basically a quarterback that doesn't have a contract after this season, unless they do something before the season starts. CD Lamb is a free agent after the season, and that's why he's holding out, because he's waiting for his money. I think the offensive line is pretty good, but there's not much depth there. And there's also, you're going to have a rookie playing a lot, probably starting at tackle. You got a new center that you got to put in there. Could be a rookie.
Philadelphia's center is a rookie, by the way, Donnie.
Yeah, and that's true, but I think they got more weapons, I think, than the Cowboys on the offense. I just think there's a lot of question marks. Our offense, I think, is going to be steady. There's not much depth. That's my worry. And the defense, especially the defensive line, there's definitely not much depth. I'm worried about that. I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm worried about on the Cowboys team, and we lost, one of our defensive players before the season even started, a guy that was probably going to be in the rotation on the defensive line with Sam Williams. I'm just a little worried, even though I got them going a pretty good record at 10-7. I changed that from 9-8. I listened to all the positive talk on the radio. How good Jalen Tolbert, who hasn't done nothing yet, how he's looking. I bought into some of that, and so I moved them up to 10-7, and that is a generous 10-7. But I have them second behind Philadelphia.
Well, obviously, I'm at my number one, and I will give you my number one right now, and I will tell you that there's only one left team, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Dallas was 12-5 last year, 12-5, and you talk about the running game. Well, we really had rested our laurels on a running back that was really never any good. When you talk about Zeke being washed up, it just depends on what you're going to ask him to do. Pollard was a never was. And so I don't really think you've downgraded at running back. I think if you modify your system a little bit, which they've done, offensively, I think you can get some things done. I like what they did in the draft, addressing the offensive line. I think you got two guys that could be starters. I think you have a little bit of depth behind center and guard this year. Offensive tackle, you don't have as much depth, but you can always kick Smith out to tackle if you had to. You got another guy that can come in, and he has started on occasion at tackle position. So other than that, I mean, you can always use more depth, like you talked about, Donnie. But the key to the Dallas Cowboys is going to be Dak Prescott. And I think that they have really went the right way. And it's kind of like this election that we have for president this year, Donnie. I think a lot of people buy into what the media says. The media says this, the media says that. So it's got to be true, right? No, it's not true. If you listen to what Dak says he's perfectly fine. He wants a new contract. He wants to negotiate. He wants to work with it. But Dak Prescott will play with no contract this season. If the Cowboys start off with a rampant pace and they're doing great, and he plays to the level that he's capable of playing at, Dak Prescott may get his contract early. But he may not get his contract until the end of the season. And I'm okay with that because they paid him too early with the big contract that they gave him after he basically snapped off his foot. So Dak needs to give back to the Dallas Cowboys by giving a great season this year. I think it's not going to be as good record-wise as it was last year. I have him at 10-7 also. That's my prediction for him this year. Tyler Guyton will be an amazing offensive tackle for the Dallas Cowboys this season. I was really, really super happy. If you go back to our draft show, you'll see I was extremely elated by that and the fact that we got Beatty later on. They did get some defensive help in the draft that could see a lot of time. That's your depth. And then you also have, a lot of people forget, Marshawn Overstreet is going to be coming in and playing a lot of linebacker. We also picked up a really good linebacker to take the place of Van Der Esch. So I think our linebacking system is going to be a little bit better. We get Diggs back. Everybody's overlooking that. And our defensive backfield looked pretty good, decent last year. A heck of a lot better than the Philadelphia Eagles defensive backfield. So I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be fine both sides of the football this year. I'm not saying that Zeke Elliott's going to rush for 1,000 yards. What you're going to see is running back by committee. Dabble's going to get some carries there. They're going to try some other things. You'll see a lot of 5 wide. You'll see a lot of 6 wide with the Dallas Cowboys this season. And they're going to primarily be a passing team. When you get short yardage, I like Zeke. Zeke's always been a decent short yardage back. I thought that's what he was. Remember, whenever you were telling me that, I was saying, y'all need to calm down on Zeke Elliott. And everybody's like, oh, he's great. He's wonderful. He's this. I said, he's good. And I think he's in better shape than what he was the last couple of seasons. I think the season away and the rest he got in New England helps him. And I think he'll be okay on short yardage situations. So I've got him going number 1 of the Dallas Cowboys, the first place team, the only team to make the playoffs in the NFC East at 10-7.
Yeah, and I have and I'm this is the first year I haven't really been really high on the Cowboys. So I think that is almost a reverse psychology for me because I've been picking the Cowboys to do really good. I've been picking them to go all the way to the Super Bowl and this and that. But this year I'm not high on them. I'm just after last season and the disappointing playoff game against Green Bay. I just I'm not going to believe in them until they prove something. And so that's where I'm at with them, even though I got them having a decent record at 10-7. I worry about all the guys with no contracts. Micah Parsons is playing with no contract. He's on his last year of his contract. And Micah Parsons, he needs to stop doing what we do and do these podcasts. He needs to play football and stop worrying about the podcast thing.
Yep.
By the way, that's just a side note to Micah, if you're listening. Do that in the off season, I guess, but don't do that in the regular season. I got the Eagles going 11-6, winning the NFC East. There hadn't been a team repeat champions in the NFC East since 2004. That's a long time, and I think that streak continues. Philadelphia, I think Jalen Hurts is a leader. I disagree with you there. I think he's a good quarterback. They got really good.
He blew up last year.
What was their record? 11-6 last year. 11-6. That's not too bad. That's not having a bad year.
12-5 is better.
Huh?
12-5 is better.
Yeah, it was. And that was. Yeah, and 11-6 was not a very good year for the Eagles last year, so they underperformed. I think this year they get back. There's going to be another 11-6, but I think that's going to be enough to win the East. And Jalen Hurts with the wide receivers that he has, AJ Brown, one of the best receivers in the league, Devontae Smith, the speedster on the outside. They got Barkley from the Giants, which will make, if he stays healthy, which will be key for him because he hadn't proven he could. That'll be key. I hope I'm wrong, and that's one of the reasons I predict this is because I've been wrong. So I think the Eagles, if I have to bet money on it, I would say they're going to win the East and go 11-6.
11-6. Okay.
And I hate that.
So there you go, everybody. Donnie has the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys in second. He has Washington and then the Giants. I have the Dallas Cowboys. The Washington Commanders is a surprise team this year. And I got to add a little asterisk on that. Philadelphia could get second, maybe. But I just really want to see Washington do good this year. I really want to see them do good this year. And I
like that, David. I like the pick, though. I like you going out there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people want to just say go for what everybody else says. I like that you're going out there a little bit and saying that Washington's going to get second. I like that.
Yep. So, and then we have, of course, everybody has in the cellar the New York Giants. And if you're from New York, you should be last. So
That's right.
There you go. Hey, Donnie, guess what? We got a comment I flipped one up that he had earlier. I'm going to flip this one up because this is our next topic, right? The Olympics. And we're going to, here in just a second, we're going to be giving our top 3 Olympic athletes all time. And Metro 411, that's our good friend Jack Parsons. And by the way, folks, we are partners with Metro 411, and they have a great, Donnie, they have 2 channels now. They have the Metro 411 radio, which is all the good 70s, 80s, and 90s. I think it's 80s, 90s, and more now is what he does. Jack, correct me on that if I'm wrong. And he also has inspirational music on the other. It's, oh gosh, I've been listening to it. But it's religious music, basically praise music, worship music. And it's really, really, go check out that Metro 411, and you can listen to it. You can even have that Alexa, find me Metro 411 radio. And you can find out all their platforms there. And Jack,
as long as he's not playing Taylor Swift music, I'm good.
Here it is, Renewed Spirit Radio. That's what it's called, Renewed Spirit Radio. Donnie, you'll love that. Check it out, Renewed Spirit Radio. Okay, he says, jumping ahead to the Olympics, how about Michael Phelps? Holds the record for the most Olympic medals, 28, and gold medals, 23. Revolutionized swimming with his incredible speed and technique. He also became a global icon, inspiring millions to take up swimming. Well, Jack, I like the pick is valid, right? And if he's your favorite, that's good. I got another. He's a great Olympian and everything. However, I don't like Michael Phelps. I never have. So he's not going to make my list. But not a bad one there.
No, he kind of stole my thunder. I'll mention that in a little bit. So my number 3. Can I go first? My number 3.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. You know how I like to do this, especially when there's only 3. So I've got a tie at 3.
You got a tie at 3?
Yes.
Well, this is surprising, Donnie. I have a tie at 3 too.
All right, great. Well, my number 3 is, and this is a tie. The first one I'll mention is the current one, and I've watched. Me and Story have watched a lot of Olympics and watched a lot of gymnastics this Olympics. And the girl is, her they call her the GOAT, and she is the GOAT, man. She is unbelievable to watch. I got Simone Biles. Simone Biles is tied at my number 3 with a guy that was fun to watch. He's got personality. A lot of people would say he's the fastest. He was the fastest human on earth. Usain Bolt from Jamaica. He was so fun to watch. Both of those are just entertaining athletes and best at what they do.
Yeah. Very good. I had Simone Biles is tied with my runner-up, but you said my favorite all-time athlete. And, I'm a historian of a lot. And who was that, Jack? Was it Usain Bolt or?
Yeah, he said he was my number 2. So
yeah.
Usain Bolt.
Okay. So I will tell you right now, Simone Biles, the stuff that she does is just phenomenal. She is just amazing. She can do. Remember Nadia Comaneci and Mary Lou Retton and all the gymnasts before her. She is just way, way higher than that. And I have her there. But I'm a historian, and you asked me who my favorites were all time. So I have to reach way back, and I'm going to pull up Jim Thorpe. And the reason I pull up Jim Thorpe is because you didn't say lifetime, you said favorite. And the reason I took Jim,
I said, okay. You are old enough to be, I know you watched him live.
No, I did not watch him live. Shut your mouth. Listen to me. Jim Thorpe was track and field way back in the day. Okay. It was a long time. 1913. Okay. 1912 Olympics, I believe. He was possibly considered the best all-around athlete in history of the modern world. And although he only competed in the Olympics, he was still very dominant in those Olympics. He won gold in the pentathlon, and the decathlon in the 1912 Olympics. And Donnie, get this: when he showed up at the track, he only had one track shoe. So he borrowed somebody's dress shoe and ran in the Olympics with a dress shoe and a track shoe and won first place and set a world record at the time. They can't do that nowadays. He was total, and he was he's from Indian descent, Native American descent, and his story and playing football at Carlisle and everything else like that. Now, they said they wouldn't let him. They stripped him of his medal, I think, or his medals, because of the fact that he had played professional sports or semi-pro sports or played for money, even though it was very, very little at the time. I just think it was sad. Also have honorable mentions. I'm going to throw my honorable mentions out there. Boxing. Vander Holyfield and Sugar Ray Leonard, both of them were in the Olympics. And if you go back and watch, because I was a big boxing fan back then, if you go back and watch those Olympics, man, they dominated their class and were just amazing. And then you got to throw Bruce Jenner and an honorable mention. Don't like the guy, but man, he was a dominant athlete in his era. He's just a kook head and really lost his brain cells later on.
Well, my number 2 is, and Jack kind of stole my thunder. The guy, when you lead the whole universe and go in medals, 28 total medals, 23 of them were gold. That's ridiculous. Michael Phelps, he's definitely my second favorite summer Olympic athlete. He was just so dominant, and I mean, he was great, and I did like him. So Michael Phelps is my number 2.
Yeah, Michael Phelps in 2008 did some amazing things and everything. I just don't like the guy, so I left him off my list, because if I don't like you, I'm just going to leave you off my list.
He did it more than 2008. I mean, it was like 3 Olympics that he dominated.
Well, yeah, but the record of this guy stood until 2008, and that was Mark Spitz. He's my number 2. Mark Spitz, that he held the record for the most gold medals in the single Olympics, winning 7 for a very long time until 2008, and that's when when Phelps took it over. Just an amazing athlete, and at the time, swimming really hadn't made its mark as an event, and my goodness, he really put him on the mark. You remember all the Wheaties boxes and all of the commercials. I don't know if you remember or not. You were just a baby, but he was big and everything. So Mark Spitz is my number 2.
All right, my number 1 is I mean, she was great and everything, but it's more personal for me on this one. Like I said, it's my favorite summer sports Olympic athlete.
That's what I'm saying.
All these I've watched: Simone Biles, Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps. One of my honorable mentions was Carl Lewis. But number 1 for me, and it's kind of a personal one, because I was still kind of growing as a young man back in these 1984 Olympics. She was great. She won gold. Was super fantastic at her sport. But I kind of had a crush on her. I almost kind of, if I knew how to do it, I would have wrote her fan mail and stuff. But I loved her, and I loved what she did on the gymnastic floor. But my number 1 will always be number 1 to me in my heart, Mary Lou Retton.
Okay. All right. I can't believe that you're going to put Carl Lewis as an honorable mention. And looky here, this guy right here, honorable mention, Carl Lewis. How could you people put Carl Lewis as an honorable mention? He's obviously one of the greatest athletes that ever lived. Came from down there in little old area of Houston, Texas and everything. Greatest track and field athlete in Olympic history, in my opinion. I wrote this. He was an Olympic mainstay from 1984 till 1996. In 1984, he won the gold in the 100 meter, the 200 meter, the long jump, and the 400 meter relay. In 88, in Seoul, he took gold in the 100 meter, the long jump, while taking silver in the 200. In 92, he won the gold in the 400 meter relay and the long jump, finishing out of his career finishing out his career in the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta with a gold in the long jump. Never before has an athlete dominated for so long so many events in Olympic track and field. In my opinion, he is the greatest Olympic athlete of all time. And you folks putting him on an honorable mention, y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself. Shame.
He was a little boring. Just a little boring.
Mary Lou.
She was not boring. She was great.
The little girl, Simone Biles. She couldn't touch the hem of Simone Biles' garment.
No, she wasn't as good. I'm just saying my favorite. I think for a moment I thought I had a chance. You know, we could have probably if she would have just known me. You know, yeah. Dorothy Hamill is a good one. Yes.
Yes, she is. I think she was better. Renton.
You know what? Tanya Harding. But that would be Winter Olympics. But
that's the gangster right there.
Yeah, if I did my list, the top 3 Winter Olympic athletes.
Oh, you got to Harding.
She might have to be up there.
Yeah, you got.
She made a great movie too.
Thanks, Jack. Jack knows how to make comments, folks. You folks need to get on there and make you some comments, like Jack over at Metro 411 Radio. Y'all need to check him out over on Metro 411, our Renewed Spirit Radio. I'm telling you, good stuff there. And you know what, Donnie? Nowadays with radio, you can in your cars, you can get this in your car. You can listen to this all day long on your car, on your any device. Alexa can even look it up for you. I mean, all kinds of tune in. Everybody's got the tune in app. You can tune it in and not have to worry about moving it because all of it is good stuff. And you don't have to listen to a bunch of garbage either. Like all these pundits that are going to tell you that the Cowboys are struggling and oh my gosh, they got contract problems. Oh my God, somebody held out. Do you not remember when Emmitt Smith held out? He held out for 3 games. 3 games. He came back. We're going to be fine, folks. We're going to be fine. And Donnie, I disagree with you. Jalen Colbert is going to make a big leap this year. I think the Cowboys' offense is going to be very prolific, and I think you'll see somebody jumping up. Don't know who it's going to be, but somebody's going to jump up at running back, especially on the defensive side. I think somebody's going to be jumping up. Look at here. Jack, you're right. I forgot to mention no news or weather, just making good music great again. How about that?
There you go.
Good music great again. I like that. All right. We got one little course of business left, right, Donnie?
Yeah, we got our top 3 Tolar football games that we broadcasted. So
man, I gotta tell you, this is going to be a tough one, huh?
Yeah, there's some really good games that we've done. So in the last 10 years, if y'all think about your favorite game in the last 10 years.
In the last decade.
Yeah.
So how many games you figure that is, Donnie? That's a lot of games.
That is a lot of games. It's over 100.
A lot of games. And, we did a lot of stuff early on. It was internet radio, and we didn't have the video. And we brought the video on, and everybody was able to see their games when they weren't able to make it. When COVID was around, we were your best friend and all that good stuff. And we're still around. We ain't going nowhere, folks. We're Total Rattlers voice, and we're going to be going on there. I have an honorable mention. Can I get an honorable mention before we go to the 3?
Yeah.
Honorable mention. All of the games, other than the games that were played in Comanche. You understand what I'm saying? Taking out all the Comanche games that were played in Comanche. Take those out. And all the other games, other than these 3, are all honorable mention. Great time, man. I mean, I'm telling you what. Am I right, Donnie? Am I right?
Yeah, it's a tough place there in Comanche.
Am I right? I'm right. I'm totally right. Okay. So number 3, Donnie Wood, you're the little brother, so you get to go first here.
All right. My number 3 is back in 2020, the year that sucked. With the COVID and everything. But 2020 in Alvarado, Texas, It was such an exciting game. In the first round, right off the bat in the playoffs, when I believe we were the 3rd seed, they were the 2 seed out of their district, and it was a final score of 45-42, us beating Dawson, we had a goal line stand at the end to hold on for that victory. Jackson Lecluse, I think he had one of his best games that year with 6 touchdown passes, 378 yards passing. We were going up against those Hamilton brothers, if you remember, from Dawson, the running backs, and they had a big old quarterback that was, he ran the ball mainly, but every once in a while he made a good throw. A really tough game, and we held on and won 45-42 there in Alvarado, Texas, to get to that second round of the playoffs in 2020. What a game!
It was 2020, the Dawson game, and I remember that. And really, really great game. That goal line stand, we about lost our mind on that game, and yeah, that was a good one. My number 3. Do you remember the playoff game when we played Marlin? And
which year?
The one where we won after we got beat by them the year before.
Last couple of years, yeah.
Yeah. We had gotten beat by Marlin, and Marlin was our biggest stepping stone. And I think that game basically was the precipice for what Tolar, Tolar program, that was the precipice of where we were as a team to become great. We were a good team, struggled with Crawford and Marlin, but when we beat Marlin that first time, man, what a game that was. I don't remember the year.
Yeah, it was 2022, David, in
Yes.
Crowley, Texas.
Yeah. Yes, in Crowley. What a moment that was. I love that, and I love the stadium. The stadium was awesome. We had a good time there. I had both my brothers with me there at that game, and it was really, really a special night. That is my number 3.
Yeah, I love that game too. Got us to the regional final for the next week, and yeah, that was a big moment beating Marlin after they whooped us the year before. My number 2 is another game that was a goal line stand, and it's probably in your list, but it was like our second season, I believe.
Yeah.
2015 with some great players that of the past. Tolar. What a game! It was the first round again, and we were the 3rd seed. They were the 2 seed. Mart the next year, Mart actually won the state championship. I think they might have won back to back. I'm not really sure, but everybody knows 2A football. They know and heard of Mart. They've been great for a long time.
Yeah.
But that game, it was in Alvarado, Texas, right?
Yeah.
Or was it in Alvarado?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was in Alvarado. We got a good lead going into halftime. I can't remember. It was kind of a pretty good lead, and Mark came back in the 3rd quarter, took the lead. We came and scored late in the 4th quarter to take the lead, 41-35. There wasn't much time left. Mark got the kickoff, ran it back past midfield, and they had just a couple more plays. They got all the way to the goal line. And for 3 plays in a row, we held the line at the 1-yard line, goal line stand victory. And that 2015 season, that was our step to making the first time we made it to the regional final later on that playoff run against Crawford there in Glen Rose, Texas. That was such a fun game.
That game will forever be immortalized in our broadcast history because it had one of the best calls. We lost our ever-loving freaking minds when we stopped them at that goal line. And you are right, it is on my list. As a matter of fact, it's at my number 2. But I have it tied. I have a tie at 2. It's the goal line stands is what I put on here. Mart in 2015 and Dawson in 2020. Those 2 games, I had to put them as a tie, Donnie. I'm sorry, but I had to have a tie at 2. Those 2 games, they were just so special because, one, the 2020 game, it was all three of us. We were in the booth together, and that was fun. And then, of course, Mark. And the goal line stands. The goal line stands, Donnie, were just so cool. And so, yeah, I mean, those two games will be my number two.
Well, yeah, and David, the history, if you look back at the 2014 season, I think that was our first year, and they made the playoffs. We played Mart, and Mart whipped our butt. Kind of similar to what Marlin did. Marlin beat us that one year. We came back and beat them. Similar to what, and of course, it wasn't the playoffs, but in the regular season with Post kicking our butt.
Yeah.
The 1 year, and the very next year we kicked their butt. So yeah, so it was a very special, because obviously Mart has been great for a long time. So beating a team like that in the playoffs and the way we did it was just incredible. And that was only our second year.
So incredible. And it was our second year that we were doing that. We had done radio stuff, and we did a Granbury TV game for Tolar before. And I had done with the radio station a lot of coaches shows with Coach Mike Franklin prior to all that. And Tolar has just been a very, very special place for us, and very great. A lot of all these great memories as we talk about the years and the players and the coaches and the community as a whole. It has just been a big love fest with the sports scene in Tolar, Texas. Let's get to number one, Donnie. This is going to be fun. Did you give your number two?
Yeah, that was the Mart game.
Yeah.
Yeah. The shirt here was 2020. That was a great time. My number one, it has to be for me, the game that got us to the state championship game last year, beating in Vernon, Texas, beating Stratford Elks 35-7 to go to state for the first time in school history. A dominating performance, offensively and defensively, against a team that I think 2 years prior won state, a team that has a great quarterback. He also a great linebacker. But they, you can't forget the first time you get to that
level.
pinnacle.
Yeah.
And so last year's game in the state semis, you can't beat that. The only thing that can beat that is if we ever go to state and win it. For me, and I'll never forget that game. It was a great game. Like I said, it was just coaches did a great job of coaching that game. They had the great game plan, and the players just executed great. We had defense was just outstanding, because Stratford the week before they killed Albany and scored a lot of points on them, and Stratford scored points big time all year. I think they averaged close to 50 points a game. And with that defense holding them to 7, 4 interceptions, they had 4 interceptions in that game. It was just unbelievable. And then the running game for the Rattlers was just pounding and 5, 6, 8 yards. I mean, just totally dominated. It was the best game that I've seen a team dominate another really good team like that, at least for our side. Now the next week, another really good team dominated a great team as well. But I'll never forget the win against Stratford.
I, too, have the Stratford game as my number one. Very funny how as we get older, Donnie, our opinions kind of are beginning to be the same, which is kind of weird because you were never this smart. So it's really great to see that you're catching up. No, I got to tell you, Stratford was very special. The only thing that I precipice with that was we were not able to show the game itself. We showed the atmosphere and we showed the scoreboard during the broadcast. And we did have, I think, a couple of little internet taboos during it. But I've listened to that game several different times, but it's still fresh on my mind. That particular game, it's the most perfect game. I'm going to use that word, the most perfect game that I've seen the Tolar Rattlers play. Like you said, the coaches and the play calling and the way they were handling the tempo and the pace of the game, the players, the way they were executing, and they weren't able to get out of their headset of how they were going to do. When they stepped off that bus way out there and wherever it was that we was at, when they stepped off that bus, they knew they were going to win that game. They were there to win the game. They were not there to even think about the possibility of even losing. And it just ebbed onto the field. And what was very, very touching, and I don't ever get emotional about nothing. Whatever really, really cool about it was at the end of the game. Of course, I'm there with my three brothers, which I just love doing this with these guys. And it's very, very neat and a very special time for the program. And we're going to state and everything to see the way the fans stuck around after the game, the interviews with the big TV stations and everything, and then sponsors coming to the Berry Brothers. I think we got photos with them and everything else like that. It just made everything special. But it was the funnest broadcast I've ever done. And it was the most meaningful broadcast I think we've done as the sports scene. So Stratford, definitely far and away my favorite broadcast that we've done. Now, I had a great time at State. We really enjoyed the facility at Texas Stadium. The only thing that ruined it for us was Terry Bussey and them crazy Timpson players. What was it, their third trip to the state championship?
Well, they didn't make it to the state. That was their first year.
Regional?
They've been the last. Well, that was their fourth year in a row that I think they made it all the way to the state semis, I believe. But I think it was just their year with Bussey, which was the number one recruit in the nation last year, and then they have some other guys that were really, really good, especially that wide receiver position. But yeah, it was a great time. Going back to that Stratford game. I mean, they all played great, but and I hate to just single out two guys, but like I said, they all played great. But a couple of guys, a few guys that really stood out in that game had a dominating performance. One on the offensive side was the quarterback Isaac Blessing. I mean, he didn't have to throw the ball much at all, but he just controlled it in that running game. He just pounded them and controlled the clock, moved the ball at will with the running with Garrison Nation and Peyton Brown, but with him especially. And then on the defensive side, I think that game against Stratford was a really, really, really good team. Obviously, Stratford is predicted to win state in 2A Division II. They dropped down to Division II this year. They're picked to win state. So they're a really good team, and they've been good for a long time. But for a guy on the defensive side, I think that game especially made basically the high school experts, the high school scouts or whatever, recognize that, okay, this guy belongs on the preseason all-state team. It's Drake Owens. Drake Owens on the defensive side of the ball. Yes. That was definitely his best game of the year, and he picked the right game. I mean, he had a great season, but that game, oh my gosh, what a great game! Clayton Stemridge in the defensive backfield.
Yes.
I mean, I remember him. He stands out to me. But Drake Owens, I think he was incredible at that linebacker position.
And he will return this season for your Tolar Rattlers, who are going to be district champs, according to the sports scene.
That's right.
And I say they're going to be in the state championship. Donnie says they're going to lose in the second round, right? Is that what you said, second round?
I didn't say that. I'll worry about the play. I'll think about the playoffs after the regular season. I'm saying we're going 10-0 in the regular season.
Donnie says 10-0 in the regular season. We'll see if that stands up. And, man, this one was a fun one. This was great. I want to say special thank you to Jack Parsons, who actually commented on today's show, which Man, I don't know why people won't comment. Hang on. That's not the one I wanted to put up there. Hang on. Let me find it. There it is. Oh, before you get away, here's what he says. Before you get away, thanks for the shout out, guys. Classic hits from the 80s and 90s and more. You can go to www.metro411.net. Inspiring hearts, one song at a time at renewedspiritradio.com. Go to those sites, folks. You will not regret it. I guarantee you will not regret it. And we have a partnership with Jack, and he's helping us out with our website. And again, that website, let me get that one up there. Website is woodplacetx.com. It's in construction right now, but we're going to get that thing popping. Also, subscribe. What is it, Donnie? Subscribe, like, and share. Is that what you think?
Well, subscribe and like and comment on our YouTube page.
Yes. Yes. The YouTube page. Go on there. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see more of. What is wrong here? What is going on? I'm trying to do something here, and it's not letting me do it.
That's all right. Hey, I know we're about to leave, and I'm glad we didn't talk to the Rangers because they've been disappointing me.
Yeah. Did they lose again today?
They lost again. They're 5.5 games out now. And it's 8-11.
The party's over.
At least we won it last year. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We were so thankful last year, right? So we can't complain. And who knows what next year will bring? There could be a lot of different things. So, folks, listen, we need to hear from you. Subscribe, like, and comment on the YouTube page. You can also comment on this page. Also, you can comment on our woodplacetx.com page. You'll want to do that as often as you can. And our next sports scene will not be Wednesday. We're going to be doing it on Friday. That will emanate from the press box at Tolar, Texas, for Meet the Rattlers night. Meet the Rattlers night will start at 6, but we're going to be on the air around 5:30-ish, somewhere around in there. Hopefully, Donnie will be able to join us. If not live, I might be able to get him to come on. He's a very busy guy, y'all. Very busy guy. Don't give him no duff. He does try to be a part of it, and as much as possible. And Donnie, did you say you're going to be at the Jacksboro game?
I'm going to try to make that scrimmage. I want to get a little sneak peek.
Well, that will be our. I will be there, and so I'll bring the equipment. We can set up in the booth, and we'll do a sports scene from there. I don't want to show much of the scrimmage because I don't want to give our first opponent the Peaster Greyhounds, which will be the following Friday. So, folks, lots of sports scene coming at you. I hope you all enjoyed this one. Again, we won't know unless you comment. So y'all need to comment and let us know what you think. Any parting words, Donnie, as we creep to the closing time?
No, have a great week. Rest of the week.
You do anything fun this weekend?
Do what?
You do anything fun this weekend? I know you're a world traveler.
I don't know if we're doing anything this weekend. I can't remember.
You haven't got orders yet?
I haven't. I don't know if we are. I don't think we are.
Maybe Bed Bath Beyond. You don't know if you have time.
Maybe a little Bed Bath and Beyond. Maybe a little, little Target or whatever. Little Michaels. Maybe little.
You
Get some Hobby Lobby or something. Maybe Hobby Lobby or.
All right. Dottie will be carrying her purse somewhere this weekend. We can guarantee it. Hey, well, until next week, I want to thank Donnie Wood, and I want to thank Jack Parsons, and I want to thank everybody who tuned in. Until next week, folks, God bless. We'll see you down the road.